The amazing world of Gumball sure is amazing. Oh, I get it! The show had such a unique visual style and would sometimes have the craziest concepts for episodes. I'm genuinely surprised that Gumball never got a dedicated video game. The most we ever got was him as a playable character in Cartoon Network Battle Crashers, which was bad. I mean, come on, even Barnyard had a game! So, when the world of traditional video games fails us, we head to other means. Websites, cell phones, CartoonNetwork.com.
There's a whole new CartoonNetwork.com out there.
For as long as I can remember, the Cartoon Network website has always consistently turned out incredibly fun and high-quality Flash games. So, are the Gumball games of an equally high quality? Or do we have another Battle Crashers on our hands? Lazy and unimpressive. Like me. Okay, so the first game on our list is the Gumball Games, a marathon of sports games that you could actually play with another person. Our first event has us being chased by Tina the dinosaur, and we try not to get eaten, as one tends to do. You mash the buttons that appear on screen and time it within this green section, so you actually have to have some sense of rhythm, which I totally don't have. Next event is jumping off of a trampoline and hurting yourself. Is this a sport? Because I did that plenty and never got a trophy for it. The gameplay in this one is a lot like Mario Golf. That basically speaks for itself. This indicator moves back and forth and you need to time your button press to get it in the green. Now this was also the time I started paying attention to the characters' voices. Why do they sound like that? Are they enjoying the pain? That's not what I want from my Gumball cartoon. Unless Nicole is involved. Up next is Jousting. It's a button masher. Tug of War is the final event, and it's also when I realized that the audience is staring right through my soul. Please, for the love of all that is good and holy, please blink. It's pretty good, 7 out of 10. Alright, so you know how people are upset that Mother 3 never got localized outside of Japan? Well, you'd actually be wrong! Because here's Gumball, the Fellowship of the Things, featuring Gumball's grandma that he open-mouth kissed one time. Man, this show was wild. The Fellowship of the Things is a full-on RPG with a storyline, quests, battles, quirkiness, anime music. But I'm getting ahead of myself. The story follows Gumball, who's been assigned to babysit Darwin and Anais because Nicole simply doesn't trust Granny JoJo. I don't blame her, she open-mouth kissed her grandson. Granny JoJo then gets upset at the fact that Nicole would put the same kid that almost brought the end of the world multiple times in charge of everyone, as opposed to her. But before anything happens, a mysterious black car shows up at the Watterson's house and trashes everything, stealing all of their stuff. So, with Gumball in charge, with great power comes great responsibility, and goes forth to find all their things. Now, I'll start off with a little criticism, and it's that the game definitely gives off RPG Maker vibes. Like, if I told you that I made this when I was 14, it wouldn't be too far-fetched. But, now for the good. The overworld portion of the game is really nice. Getting to explore the Watterson's house and certain parts of Elmore is always a treat. Seeing where everything is connected within their world. We also gotta look for clues and recruit people into our party. But what good is an RPG without battles? The battles are your typical turn-based combat. You can select a basic attack, special move, or defend. It's definitely not the deepest combat. There's no skill trees that raise your mana to double your elemental damage. I mean, for God's sakes, Gumball is fighting with an empty paper towel roll, and Darwin has a strainer you use for spaghetti on his head. The enemies are also pretty interesting. They start out as your basic cartoony zombies and evil tuna can, as one does, but slowly start looking more like genuine nightmares. These monsters have such a contrasting art style compared to everything else, which is right up Gumball's alley. The visuals are the first thing that comes to mind when I think of Gumball. And that's pretty much the entire game. It's fairly long for an online Flash game, and will get pretty repetitive since you're just looking for items and battling, but whatever, it's still really cool. We need more RPGs that focus on children characters using everyday items and everyday scenarios like, I need to get back my iPad. Oh yeah, and in case you're interested, it was Granny JoJo. She stole everything to teach us a lesson about how technology is bad. Yeah, you know what? Maybe she should have taught us a lesson about how you shouldn't open-mouth kiss your own grandma! Yeah, at least the music was cool. Creepypastas! Or scary spaghetti if you're a true literary schooler like myself. This next game obviously isn't on CartoonNetwork.com, but I'd be remiss to not talk about it. Did I use that word correctly? Close enough. This game is based off the supposedly lost episode of Gumball, The Grieving. All information involving this lost episode can be found at Geoshia's Lost Episode Wiki, so you know it's legit. The Creepypasta story itself is extremely long, so I'm just gonna sum it up super quickly. Basically, this person was watching Gumball one night at 4 a.m., which already doesn't check out, because that's when Adult Swim is on. You should have been watching reruns of Robot Chicken instead. Anyway, the episode starts like normal, but with, of course, cursed creepypasta music. But then cuts to Gumball, who's in school by himself at night, being sad. Well, geez, that sure is peculiar. We then cut to Richard, who's crying. Let's see here. Jump scares. We then cut to the principal, who's talking to the parents, who are still sad. Random footage. Anais loses her head. You know, okay, I guess I could see that happening in a regular episode. And Gumball hangs himself. That's just great. So, they turned that into a game. The quality of the game is fine, I guess. It's up there with every other creepypasta game. First, we take control of Gumball and walk around the dark, empty school, where we then get jump scared by the funniest MS Paint edit I've ever seen. We then take control of Richard, whose gameplay consists of walking around and crying. This would be my special move in a video game, to be honest. We then cut to Nicole and Richard wondering where their children are. At least in the game, there's more context and plot, as opposed to just reading someone's story or watching the found footage. So where's the kids? There's one of them. And there's the other. Well, we know how this game ends. Gumball finds a rope and becomes a Christmas decoration. That's so cute. I want one on my Christmas tree. I shouldn't rag on this game too much. Creepypastas have their place on the internet, and it's for kids and people who just discovered what creepypastas are. But let's end on a fun note. Mutant Fridge Mayhem. A mobile game, which at first made me think it was going to be a terrible city building simulation like SpongeBob or The Simpsons. But I was wrong. The game is an arcade-style beat-em-up. The Watterson's refrigerator somehow becomes zombified, and all the food in it is out for blood. So, the Watterson kids have to deal with the evil food the only way you should.
No one messes with my brother! Everybody was...
The game is everything I've ever wanted. So many references and power-ups to past episodes, super snappy and flashy gameplay. This game should have been released on consoles, while Battle Crashers was some phone game. Alright, so just for the heck of it, here's something called Gumball Watterson Run Ball. The instructions here are in Ratatouille, so there's no luck for me there. Oh my god, this music! This is amazing! There's a missile! Oh. I'm sorry, but what killed me? This is so intense. That's a mirror that dropped! Look at that background. Uh-oh. Oh no, that's not good. That's not good, Gumball. And those were some of Gumball's games. Despite being one of the most popular cartoons that defined the 2010s, all of the games were only playable through Flash games or mobile, which is kind of a shame for sure, but when they're this good, I won't complain. Now if you'll excuse me, I need to read some more frightening fettuccine.